Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today on this Saturday morning? Hope everyone is well. I am well. So we got our butts kicked in comex yesterday. Paper gold got killed, but we know what happened. It was strictly derivatives. So I think there's a holiday in China on Monday, so maybe they went home early and therefore they weren't there to buy it. Shows you how stupid the game is. And again, there's no supply and demand. It's just comex bullshit. Nobody's selling gold. It's on a physical free market, eBay situation. Gold would never go down like this. Only in a comex option derivative contract situation does the price go down. And so we know it's not the real price, the gold. And so to us, this is why it's a buying opportunity. It's all bullshit. Why they even think this is the physical price of gold blows my mind, or silver. It's not close to it. It's got nothing to do with it. Like I said, it's like trading places. Eddie Murphy sells it at 140 and buys it at 24. Now, did that set the price on orange juice? Maybe. It shouldn't, though. It should just be on physical. But the fact that the crop report said there was no damage would make the price go down. But you don't have that here. There's no, well, the gold coming out of the ground is, it's the same thing. It's all being bought. We'll cover sports. And then there's one thing I wanted to show was on comex, was on one thing I wanted to show is here. "30 new countries just joined BRICS." So that gives you like 40 countries. So that's really the point. So they're all getting out of the dollar, which puts demand for the dollar to zero, which is already at zero. When you have something like this that's not backed by anything, it's probably like baseball cards. This is not backed by anything. It's Mahomes and it's 50 count, but all it is cardboard. It's not backed by gold. So this is very similar to this in the fact that this is based on demand for the player and the card, and that's why it's 50 count. So this value is based on demand for the player. That's why the Barry Bonds card and the Mahomes card are different. They're worth different value because the more people that want this makes the price go up. And because he did steroids, the demand for Barry isn't as strong. So, but neither of them are backed by gold. They're just limited, and it's who the player is. So that's why I tell you to go after the star. There's more demand for it. Here, This is very similar to that in the fact that this is worthless. It's not backed by anything like the Mahomes card. And then it becomes how many people want this? What's the demand for the dollar, which will keep the value, but it's not, it's the same as the Mahomes card. Not backed by anything except for demand. The Montana rookie card is 125,000 as a PSA 10 because there's not a lot of PSA 10s and there's a whole bunch of Montana collectors, so they will bid it up, and that's why it's worth 125,000 on eBay, is because there is demand and there's very little supply of PSA 10s. There's probably a lot of PSA 8s, maybe some PSA 9s, and very few PSA 10s because in 1981 Topps, the football set, it was very hard to get centered, so it's very hard to get a 10. My card's perfect, but it's a little off center. Maybe I get a 10, probably a 9, but I'm hoping for a 10. It'd be nice to get 125,000 of this shit. But there you go. So the backing isn't as important as the demand. However, I just showed you 30 new countries joining BRICS, plus the 10 that's already there is 40 countries, and another 97 countries coming to the BRICS Olympics in October. Doesn't mean 97 are going to join, but it wouldn't surprise me if everybody starts getting out. Now, it's a little dangerous. You're dealing with Russia and China, but it's just as dangerous dealing with the U.S., who are a bunch of crazy people. So this comes into the demand for this. How many people want this? Do you want this? If you want this, then the demand will keep the price just like this. So this, let's say, is worth $2,000 because it's a 50 count home. So there's enough demand to make this worth $2,000. Now it's just cardboard. There isn't backed by gold. Okay, I do have some Highland Mint coins and cards that are silver. So they are real silver coins and cards. Here's $1. It's not backed by anything. It's only worth what the same people that buy the Mahomes will buy this for. So as long as people demand this, it'll keep value. But the problem is because it's not backed by gold and it's printed to 150 trillion, there is no demand for it. And if you keep doing sanctions on countries and ordering people, well, I'll give you the money if, then there's a big problem there. So that's really what you're looking at. I'll give you the money if you wash my clothes, you shine my shoes. So that's really the point. The reason all these currencies go out, there's a couple thousand of them, the Romans, the French, the English, the British. I mean, they all had the big currency because it was backed by gold. See, a currency backed by gold, right? So if the dollar is backed by gold, see if I can do that, then it has value. And then people want it because of the gold. Everybody wants gold. They might not see it. They might say, well, I got dollars, so I don't need the gold. But believe me, everybody wants gold. Why would you not think gold has a value? So because this doesn't have the backing of gold and because of the printing, is there still demand for it? So my argument is because BRICS is coming out with a gold-backed currency and this is printed to death, people realize this has no value. This isn't worth anything because there's just too many. The more there are of this. So this is a 50 count. I think there's a regular card in the deck, which isn't 50 count, just the regular. I think this looks like the regular card. I think the gold on top makes it different. And it probably goes for $2. This probably goes for 2,000. The difference is there's only 50 of these. So there's limited versus a regular card where they printed 1 million of them. And why have a demand? There's just too many of them. There's no value. There's too many of this. There's no value. So really, that's the point of this, is that It's only there if people want it. And all the countries who do want it don't want it anymore. They're all getting away from it. All the BRICS countries, they're dealing. The Indians and the Russians and the China are all using their own currency, which eventually will go to a gold-backed currency, and that'll be it. Everybody will want gold. Nobody's going to want this. Nobody wants this now. So that's what the whole process is getting away from this, because they don't want the sanctions and the blackmail that the U.S. does. So they're saying, screw it, we don't want this, but there's no other currency. Hence why BRICS is coming out with the gold-backed currency. Everybody goes, yeah, I want gold. So that's what's going to happen. That's why it's happening. No, it's not going to happen. It is happening. So as nobody wants this, then there's no value. And I pointed that out before with my Canadian Club bottle that says, if no, I can only sell this if there's a buyer. If there's no buyer, this is worthless. But it's Canadian Club. Everybody wants that. So this is the point. When nobody wants this, then it has no value, because there's nothing giving it value like the gold would. So if it's gold, it's got value because it's gold. And that's the key to it. So when we watch these little derivative things, the only reason gold goes down is because they're doing derivatives. They're doing puts, they're doing contracts, they're doing options, and they're betting that it goes down, and there's nobody to buy it because the Chinese are having a holiday on Monday. So it just free falls. But when China comes back, the price is going to go right back up, and they'll do call options and go, okay, I bet the price is going to go up. So it went from 23.87 to 22.97. So they made a bunch of money on the put option, and now so they sold and then bought, and now they're going to buy and then sell, and it goes back to 2,400. So we know that this is what's happening. So this is a beautiful time to buy. And that's what it is. It's all about economics. It's all about, is there demand for the product? That's why electric cars you can't sell them. Nobody wants them. They're the stupidest idea I've ever seen. So it won't let, it'll go to zero if you're in Tesla stock. Get the hell out of it. He's firing up rockets. Yeah. Okay. And why? Oh, we're all going to go to Mars. Really? Is it nice there? Oh, we can't breathe up there because there's no oxygen. Well, a minor problem. So that's what it is. That's what football betting is. That's what poker is. It's what women or, dating is. It's all about supply and demand. You see a pretty girl and you're attracted to her. If the girl is not pretty and you're not attracted to her, you don't want her. She's not, then she's not has the same value. So the prettier girl that draws more guys has more value, because more people want to spend time with her than one who's not pretty. Guys are usually, if they're not pretty but they're nice. I don't know that some guys will do it, but a lot less. Just like girls want money because they need safety and security. So one thing with Daria and me, she feels safe with me. She feels protected. She feels security. And that's the key. So I got my morning text from her at like 5:30. Kind of woke me up, but I was too tired to answer. So I texted her later. But maybe I'll hear from her after. But still waiting to hear on Serbia. But I'm not getting an answer. She probably doesn't have one. Probably doesn't want to tell me. So we'll probably meet a little later. Waiting to hear on the jobs. It was interesting. My recruiter asked to befriend him on LinkedIn. I'm trying to think what's that about, but I don't know. Can he see my LinkedIn? I don't know. So I'm like, I got nothing to hide. So I said, sure. Then I emailed about the money, the 1,200. Let's see if I got an email back. No, not yet. So the check they show me is from October 2023, and if they give me that check, it'll be worthless because it's too old. So I'm hoping they're smart enough, although I question it, to cancel that check, reissue me a new one that's not 90 days out. Anyway, not really worried. They're about a 45-minute drive if I have to drive to the office to pick it up. I sent the stuff. Again, told her can you just let me know when it's mailed, which I doubt they'll do. And you wonder why I don't trust people. Well, there you go. Most people are idiots, and it's hard to trust them. I think we all have that problem. You can't just blindly trust people until you get to know them, and then even then, you can't. You hope you can trust them. All right, so let's look at baseball for yesterday. We'll go through NFL Week 1. That's always fun, even though I've done it a little bit. All right, so yesterday, Milwaukee beats Detroit 10-0. The great Reese Olson, the superstar, gives up 8 runs in 3 innings with his 1-7 record. You can't tell me the record's not important. The fact he had a low ERA, it's a bunch of 5-inning starts. I think he had 1 8-inning. I don't know what the managers are so afraid to pitch the guy 9 innings. He's not going to pitch for 5 days. Anyway, had Milwaukee under 8.5 because Reese Olson was going. I figured he'd hold them under 10, but he couldn't do it. I had Pitt under 8. Pitt wins 3-0. Pitt under 8 wins. I have Atlanta under 7.5 with Chris Sale. This was our 7-unit play, and it wins. Washington wins 2-1. I told you I was a little worried about Jake Irvin's 3.12 ERA, and I brought up the Verlander game, and this is exactly what happened. Washington wins 2-1. I would have lost with Sale, but because he was facing another 3.0 pitcher, more than likely it was going to be low scoring, and it was. That's how you get a 7-unit play. So I win with Atlanta under. I have Baltimore to win. They win 6-3. Cole Irvin with the 2.87 ERA against Aaron Chevalier with the 5.51 ERA, the perfect scenario. This was also a 7-unit play. Then we go to the Yankees over 8.5. I was really hemming and hawing. I didn't play this one, but I just said, and 2-1 Dodgers, very low scoring, which is strange because Michael Grove with a 4.59 ERA and the new kid Hamilton, who we didn't know. That's why we didn't bet it. So he looks like he's pretty good if he held the Dodgers to 2. I have Cincinnati winning. Nick Lodolo against Justin Steele, who wasn't very good. Cincinnati wins 3-2. I didn't bet him, but I had Cincinnati because I didn't know enough about Justin Steele. Now we know more about it. He held the Cubbies to 2 runs, so that was pretty good. Miami and Cleveland. I have Cleveland over 7.5. I lose. The score is Miami 3, Cleveland 2. Both the starters, with 5 ERAs, and you get a 3-2 game. I think in this game, you get to the bullpen and they just shut out the other team for 5 innings. So very, very strange how these 5 6.0 guys in the bullpen just shut out. And I think it's because they pitch 1 inning. 49ers in Texas. We have the 49ers under 7.5. Logan Webb, a 2.92 against David Robertson, a 3.41. We play it under because we know Texas doesn't hit right now. Not that the Niners do, and the Niners win 5-2. So under 7.5 wins. We got Boston under 8, and we lose it at the end, 7-2, 9 runs. But Chicago, who can't score with the 2.10, what's the Cubbies ERA, the White Sox ERA is a whopping 2.15. And see, this is why you got to ignore it. They score 7 runs on a pretty good pitcher, Cooper Griswold, 3-3 with a 4.13. So again, probably going a little bit too out, betting on a kind of a weak pitcher, and we just lost. They scored 9 runs. We're under 8. So okay. St. Louis under 7.5 loses. They went 8-5. I don't know who the starter. The Matt Cazell wasn't the starter with a 10 ERA. I think they had a low ERA pitcher, and he didn't last. And St. Louis wins 8-5, so they are scoring some runs. So it was a surprise. I think this is one of these bullpen games. I see the loser Matt Carrassi. We went with a 10-3-8. Well, if that was the guy, I would have bet St. Louis. But he's the bullpen. He probably gave up 4 or 5 runs, and that's how the unders go to overs. But sometimes these guys in the bullpen shut them out. So it's really weird. Sometimes they pitch the shutout. Sometimes the guy with the 1.0 ERA gives up 3 runs. Sometimes the guy with the 6 ERA shuts you down for 2 innings. It's all averages, and that's really why it's very difficult, especially every day betting baseball. Houston and California. I have Houston over 8.5, and it's 7-1. I get an 8. So in the other game, the Boston game, it goes to 9, and I lose under 8. And here I got over 8.5. I get 8. I need another run, and I don't get it. But again, I didn't bet on this one. Valdez, 3.53 against Griffin Canning. Those are the pitchers. So I basically probably it was, do I trust Valdez? Because Canning is 2-6 with the 4.65 ERA. So I know they're going to get a lot of runs on him. That's why I went over. I didn't know how Valdez would do with the 3.53 ERA. As it turns out, he gives up 1 run, or maybe none, or maybe the bullpen gave up the run. Just turbo hitting. We have Oakland over 7.5. They win 2-1 over Toronto. Very surprising. Runs. We know Toronto hits pretty well. Well, they hit 233. Oakland hits 225. So here, the starting pitchers played better. And we lose. This was a 5-unit. Oakland over 7.5. And Arizona over 7. We win. We win this game way early. 10-3 San Diego. King against Brandon Pfaadt. Pfeadt. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I think it's Fat. Why doesn't he just say FAT? Why does he add these other letters? So San Diego wakes up, scores 10-3. I got it over. My bets. Atlanta under 7.5 for 7 units wins. Chris Sale. Baltimore 7 units wins. Again, the big pitching. The ace against the 5th. We have Cleveland over 7.5. We lose. We have the 49ers under 7.5, and we win. We have Boston under 8. We lose, and we have Oakland over 7.5. And we lose. So we won 14, 10, 4 plus 4 units. Again, by focusing on the key games, it makes us a winner. So by making Atlanta under and Baltimore 7 units, it takes away the 2 5 units that we lose, and we're winners because we did it. Now, eventually what you start doing is you just bet the 7 or 10 units. Now, the 5 units still win, Frisco under, but you don't really want to mess around. You want to mess around with the ones you really like, the 7 unit, the Chris Sale. Beautiful, beautiful pick. That's what you want to start betting because it's every day and because there's too much uncertainty. I mean, we lost with Boston. Well, look at the Oakland over. Let's go into that box score. I mean, it's 0-0 to the bottom of the sixth. I mean, so let's see. Chris Bassett for Toronto pitches 8 innings, got a 3.80 ERA. He he pitches a 4-hitter for 8 innings, giving up 1 run. That's my point about why it's so difficult. So you think 3.80. So you think Toronto's going to win, and then here's Oakland, H. Harris with a 2.21 ERA, which I'm not sure he was the starter or he was a bullpen guy. He pitches 6 innings, pitches a 3-hitter. I don't know that we saw him with a 2.21 ERA against a 3.80. I would never have gone over it. Something doesn't add up here. Now, Oakland's relievers are 2.95, 2.45, and 2.20. And they all pitched 1 inning, and 2 of them were no hits, and then one had 2 hits and 1 run. That was it. And the starter 6. So this is not right. This H. Harris with the 2.21, I'm not going to go over 7.5, right? Especially with the way these teams hit. And again, Bassett with a 3.80 pitches a 4-hit, gives up 1 run. And then their bullpen guy, C. Green, comes in with the 2.25, gives up a home run, and they lose the game 2-1. So had I taken Toronto, I would have lost. H. Harris, I don't know if he was a bullpen guy or what. Well, let's take a look at H. Harris. Was this his first? This is Hogan guy, Hulk Hogan. I remember that. Yeah, so this is the right guy. Okay, he pitches May 7th against Texas. They lose 15-8, 5 innings, gives up 8 hits, 4 earned runs. Then he goes against Houston, pitches 3 innings, and no hits them. Then he goes 5 innings against Tampa, 4 hits, gives up 3 runs. So he's given up 4 runs and 3 runs in 5-inning games, and in a 3-inning game, he throws a no-hitter. And now here he comes, 6 innings against Toronto, gives up no runs. So again, there's no rhyme or reason. The guy's very inconsistent, right? Gives up 4 runs to Texas and 3 runs to Tampa, 3 innings against Houston, and then here's 6 innings against Toronto. And this is the problem. He's got a 2.21 ERA, but when you look at it, you just don't believe it. So Hulk Hogan here, when you looked at his background, you're not seeing a shutout, especially Toronto. Toronto hits 233 with the weak bullpen, 456, and Oakland has a 342 and they hit 225. So I could see going under, except for Toronto's bullpen, which is probably why the starter went 8 innings, because they can't as soon as he brought in the bullpen, he lost the game, gave up a home run. So that's how you get away from the bullpen. You let the starter go 8 innings. Why he didn't go 9, I don't know. But so you can see what happens. So most of the time this works. Some of the time, like the Oakland game, probably not enough information on Hulk Hogan. He's only pitched 3 games, and he pitched terrible in 2 of them. The other one, he pitched 3 innings. So you never saw this coming. But we don't have enough information. So that's why these guys that are new pitchers or just starting or 1 or 2 games, you just stay away from, because you don't know what you're going to get with these guys. You know, it could be Verlander or it could be Underlander. I mean, who knows? All right, let's go to today, 6-8. We're going to start in the NBA because it's just 1 game. I don't want to forget about it. 6-8 NBA. Gotta love it. All right. Boston 7.5. We're going to take Dallas plus 7.5. We're going to go and make this a 10-unit play. So it goes from 6.5 to 7.5. Like I said, it's the first quarter. Boston went out 37-20. Porzingis scores 18 points, and then he's done the rest of the game. Doesn't do anything. And Dallas out the final 3 quarters was like even. So they weren't ready. First quarter, large crowd in Boston. Okay. Now, let's get down to some serious business here. Watching Luca Brasi, way too many 3-point shots. I mean, I looked at the 3-point shots. They were like 3 of 15. You wonder why I hate the 3-point shot. It gives you 3 points. Yeah, but you only make so little of them that they're not worth it. Right? You make 15% of them. There's a lot of misses, a lot of fast breaks, and that's why you lose by a lot. So hopefully they get the ball inside. Maybe Luca Brasi gets his touchback. He only had 1 or 2 assists. Terrible game for him. I look for him to adjust. And Jack Tatum had a good game, but it wasn't Lynn Swan. So that's what we got. So I love the 7.5 off of a loss. Certainly beat Minnesota and OKC without much problem. So I'm not worried about it. I like this. I think they'll win. But how good's Boston? I don't know, but how good was OKC in Minnesota, who beat Denver? I don't think Boston's better than those 2 teams. So we will see. All right. It's 11:39. We have 110 game. Philadelphia against the Jets. Philly minus 155 and 9.5. Our buddy Ranger Suarez 9-1 with the 170, who let us down last game against Sean Manea 3-2 with the 3.63. And you got to be kidding me. The over under on this game is 9.5. So here's Ranger Suarez. I'm not sure what happened last game. He only pitched 2 innings and didn't give up a hit or a run. Did he get injured or did he get ejected? The most he's given, I gave up 5, maybe the Colorado game I'm thinking of. Yeah, so the Colorado game, he pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 hits and 5 runs. Wow. So they lose 5-2. He gives up 5 runs. Outside of that, it was all zeros, a couple of 1s and 2s. So then he pitches 2 innings against St. Louis, which I don't understand on the first. And now he's off of 7 days, and he gets the JETSs. The last time he pitched, he pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 hits and 2 runs, and none of them were earned. That was against the Mets. They won 10-5. So he's from Venezuela, by the way. Sean Manea from Indiana. Now, he's pitched regularly. Usually goes 5 innings. Gave up 6 runs to Arizona last time. 2 runs to the Niners, 2 runs to Miami, 3. That's it. He gave up, and then he had a bad 8-run game against Kansas City. So everybody has that one game. What you're looking for him is after a loss. We have him after giving up 6 hits and 6 runs to Arizona. So we look for him to be much stronger, but he doesn't give up too many. Over under 9.5. This is ridiculous. We're going Philadelphia. Under 9.5. How the hell are they doing that? And we're going to make this, we're going to go 11 units. We're going to go 11 on the basketball just for luck. So this is an 11 unit under. Ranger Suarez from Venezuela. That's where the name comes from. 9-1 with a 1.70. Manea 3-2 with a 3.63, and he just had a bad outing. It's in New York. I'm sure Bobby's probably playing wherever you are, Bobby. It's like, where's Waldo? Where's Bobby? Where the hell is he? So you got to love Ranger Suarez anyway, but because they're playing a decent pitcher in Salmonea, 3-2 with the 3.63, we're going to go under, and it's 9.5. Talk about a line that should be 7. This is 9.5. Oh my God. So this is the 110 game. Get it in. Philly under 9.5, 11 units. The 49ers and the Cowboys. The 49ers won yesterday. We don't have pitchers. Let's go in. Maybe we got pitchers. I noticed that sometimes I go into the game, I got pitchers. Well, let's see. Nope, I don't have pitchers. So we don't know who the pitchers are. There's nothing I can do. I got Dallas is minus 135, 8.5. The game's in Dallas. 49ers, good road team. They're pretty equal, 31-33 against 30-33. So I'm going to I can't play it. I don't know who the pitchers are. All right, Atlanta and Washington. This was our big 7 unit. We hit Chris Sale. He's the man. That was under. They lost 2-1, but it was beautiful. That's exactly what we thought with the Verlander game. Again, if it's 2 unders, don't get caught into betting Verlander or Sale. If it's another ace going against them, then it's going to be 2-1. Now, if he's pitching the 5 pitcher, the 4 pitcher, yes, then he'll win, like we got with Baltimore yesterday. No, yeah, Baltimore had their a 2.0 ERA against the 5, and the 2.01. All right, Atlanta 135, 8.5. We got Charlie Morton 3-2 with the 3.88. Mackenzie Gore 4-5 with the 3.57. Over under of 8.5. Washington 3.76 ERA, 2.30 batting average. Atlanta 3.34 ERA and 2.50 batting average. Atlanta, you think, can hit, but they played a 2-1 game with Chris Sale yesterday. So I don't know what to do here. This is where you struggle. Charlie Morton 3-2 with a 3.88. What do you do with this guy? Because there's too many times the 3.88 throws a 1-hit shutout, and then the next game gives up eight hits and 6 runs in 3 innings, which is the problem with the league. Too many inconsistencies, too many minor leaguers. Morton, I believe, is from the Dodgers. Mackenzie Gore, I don't know. 8.5. They played a 2-1 game yesterday against Chris Sale, though. I don't know. I'm not gonna play this, but I'll say Atlanta under 8.5, but no bet. This is what we're trying to weed out are these games where you guys, we'll bet them, and then they lose, like the Oakland game yesterday. Well, I'm not gonna fuck around with it. If I don't like it, we're gonna kind of condense to here's our best 4 or 5 games. I'm doing very well picking. I'm going 4-3. I'm going 5-2. And again, it's matchups, and again, it's every day. So not every day you're going to get good matchups. You got to be patient in baseball. It could be, well, you had it yesterday. It was a lock because it was Chris Sale. Well, he can't pitch every day, and that's probably the biggest thing between baseball and football. I get Mahomes every time KC plays. I don't have to worry about another quarterback, and I don't have to worry about a pinch count where, Mahomes, you've thrown 25 passes, you got to come out of the game. I think he'd kill whoever had that suggestion. So that's the difference. I always have Mahomes. He's not I know he's going to play the whole game. And if I'm down at the end, like in the Super Bowl, he's going to come on and win the game. And that's the point. You got the picture here. I had Chris Sale yesterday. I don't have Chris Sale today. Now I got a Charlie Morton, 3-2 with the 3.88. Mackenzie Gore, 4-5 with the 3. Neither of them interesting. All right, Minnesota and Pitt. Minnesota's the 125 favorite, over under 9. Here's the Simeon Woods Richardson. He needs 3 names. 2-0 at the 305 against Cameron Moydinsky, 0-2 at the 675. Let's look at this Richardson guy. I think he's pretty good. From Sugar Land, Texas. You got to love Sugar Land, Texas. Now, this guy's very deceiving. He's 2-0 with a 305. You think, he's only pitched a few games. He's pitched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. He's got 2 wins, one against Detroit, 6 innings, one against KC, 5 innings, where he gave up 2 runs and 1. Then we look at the other games, he doesn't get a decision. 5 innings, gives up 2 runs. 3 innings, gives up 2 runs. 6 innings, those a 1-hit shutout. Why did they take him out? They ended up winning the game 3-1. What do you I can't, this is what I don't understand. He's got a 1-hit shutout through 6 innings, and really he's tired pitching 80, 90 pitches. And he goes 4, and now he's upset. He goes 4 innings, gives up 5 runs to Toronto, 5 innings, only gives up 1 run to Cleveland, and they lose. Then he goes 4 innings against Washington for 3 hits. I mean, this guy, it's hard because there's not enough. Like, he gave up 7 hits in 3 innings. He gave up 8 hits in 4, gave up 7 hits in 5, and then the rest of the time he's had a few 4-inning games. So his last 5, he pitched 4 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings. Throwing there a 3 2/3. He's only had 2 6-inning games. So you're going to get 5 innings out of this guy. 3.05 ERA. ERA is 9 innings. So this guy's not going to go 9 innings and give up 3 runs. So now we got to go to Pittsburgh. 4-4, terrible bullpen, 228, under team. Minnesota, 353, and they hit 231. So we'll go Minnesota because they got a real pig going and they got a real bad bullpen. So we'll go Minnesota. We will go 5 units on it. The over-under is 9. I don't trust that, but I think Minnesota should hit this guy well. And they're 33-30. They're a pretty good team. It's funny. I'm Pitt's 30-33, but they hit 228. But they have a 4.44 bullpen. You got a 6.75 pitcher and a 4.44 bullpen. Minnesota should get at least 5, 6 runs. And the Simeon, he's good for 4 or 5 innings. I mean, then you get to Minnesota's bullpen, it's at least 353. So, and again, we don't know what that means, 353. Is 353 that the bullpen shuts you out, or the bullpen gives up 6 runs? This is what we're dealing with. Again, it's an earned run average. Toronto-Oakland played a whopping 2-1 game yesterday. We had Oakland over. We're not going to make that mistake. We got Toronto as a big favorite, 165-8. The game's in Oakland. So probably what you had yesterday is both teams were tired because both teams are on the road. They both fly to Oakland, probably from the East Coast. So they're both tired, and they looked like it, 2-1. Now they get a 4:00 game, which it's 4:00 for Toronto, 1:00 for Oakland. Maybe actually help Toronto. Actually, it's probably 4:00 for both. But the game time's 4:00, so I'm trying to think. I think these are, yeah, this is Eastern time, so it's 1 o'clock in Oakland. But both teams are tired from the travel. Kevin Gausman, 4-4, 460 against Luis Medina, 0-0 with an 0-0-0. Has he pitched before? He pitched against Atlanta June 2nd. 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, and it wasn't earned. I'm confused. How can there be this many runs that aren't earned? I don't understand. I know they're because of errors, but really, there must be like 5,000 errors in the league. So, 5 innings gives up 2 hits, 1 run. Nobody's seen him, and they beat Atlanta. So I don't know how good this guy is. There's no way I can bet him. Gausman 4-4 with the 460. So we got to pass on this game. Probably I don't know. I would say an under, but Gausman's a 4.60. So I'm going to pass on it. All right, the Red Sox, White Sox. Boston's a big 225 favorite. Wow, I don't know how. Over under 8.5. Brian Bello, 6-2 with the 4.36 against Nick Nastrini, 0-5 with the 9.74. I understand why the 225, 8.5. We're going over. Boston over 8.5. And we'll make this for 5 units. This is what we're looking for. See, these have been sevens, the over-unders. Here it's actually 8.5, but here's a guy 0-5 with the 9.74. I look for Boston to get 6-7 runs, and the White Sox, I mean, they lit them up yesterday, so maybe they're starting to hit. It does go in, trends, and it goes in streaks. So we'll say they can score. And Brian Bello has got a 4.36 ERA. It's not like he's going to shut them out. So this is a very good over, 8.5. I don't see how you take Boston at 225 with Brian Bello. Milwaukee against the limpless Tigers. Milwaukee 165-8. Freddie Peralta 4-3 with the 3.74 against Casey Mize 1-3 with the 4.70. Over and under 8. We're going to go over. Milwaukee over 8. I'm not betting it. Peralta 4-3 with the 3.74 should be good. Casey Mize, he stunk. He stunks. Not good. Casey Mize 1-3 with the 4.70. I mean, they lit up the guy yesterday. Oh, it's Brees Olson. Oh, he's got a bad record, but he's got a good ERA. Well, now he's got a bad record and a bad ERA. His ERA went from like 1-something, now it's 3-something. Like I said, give 20, 25 games, then you get the real picture. Right now, after 4 or 5 games, you don't really get it. Now they're in the 10. Pretty soon we'll have the real pitchers, and then you get thrown these new ones who he's had one start or is his first start, and you're like, well, you have no idea. Much like pro football, when you got Caleb and the coach sucks, you don't know. You assume he sucks, but you got to give him 4 or 5 games to show you he sucks. So we're going over 8 there. Seattle KC. That was a very high scoring game yesterday. Seattle won 38.5. Luis Castillo 5-6 with the 2.99. Alec Mars 4-3 with the 3.76. Well, we're going to go under here. Seattle under 8.5. Now, this was a very high scoring game yesterday. Castillo with a 2.99 ERA in Mars. So we're gonna bet this for 5 units. We'll go under. I got 2 pretty good pitchers. I got an 8.5. The game's in Kansas City. It was like a 10-9 game yesterday, so we're going to be very careful with it. The Cubs in Cincinnati. Cincinnati has won the first 2 games. The Cubs minus 105 and 9. Ben Brown 1-2 with a 3.33 against Andrew Abbott 4-5 with a 3.99. I like this game under. Cubs under 9. And we'll go 5 units here. Now, the last 2, the Seattle and the Cub game, could go either way. Probably shouldn't bet these games, right? These are Who the hell is Ben Brown? 1-2 with a 3.33, and Andrew Abbott 4-5 with a 3.39. But I like that they got low ERAs and it's a 9. So I'm betting it because the over/under is 9. And in the other game, it's the same thing. I got a 2.99 and a 3.76 over under 8.5. So because they're 8.5 at 9s, and I got 3 ERAs, it's an under. We'll see, but Cincinnati and the Cubs played an under yesterday, so don't know. Again, we're dealing with averages, but it's the run line. It's like the football game, right? We got USC and against Washington, and the over under 60. We're going over because it's 60. However, if USC plays Colorado and the over under is 75, it's too high. So we're playing the because of the line and the pitchers, we're going to hit them under. All right. Baltimore, Tampa. We had Baltimore yesterday. You got the W. Kyle Bradish 1-0 with the 3.18 against Ty Bradley 1-3 with the 5.81. I got a feeling we're going with Baltimore again. I hate when the screen shifts and you've already pushed it and then you don't get what you want. This guy's pitched quite a bit. He's pitched since May 2nd. He's pitched 1, 2, 3, 5 games, 6 games. His last game, he pitched a whopping 2 innings and gave up 7 hits and 5 runs. Against the White Sox, he throws 7 innings and throws a shutout. Holloway didn't let him finish. He's got a no-hitter for 7. They pull him. The Cardinals, he throws a 5-inning 4-hitter, a 4-inning 4-hitter against Toronto, a 5-inning 4-hitter against Washington, and a 4-inning 4-hitter against the New York Yankees, May 2nd. So the most he's given up was 2 runs. So he gives up 5 in 2 innings. However, it's what's the word I'm thinking of? It's skewed because it's 4 innings, 2 hits, 4 innings, 1 hit, 5 innings, 5. So he goes once, 7 innings, pitches a no-hitter against the White Sox, and they pull him. Then he comes back. So I notice how it's affecting him. Then he goes 2 innings, and he gives up 7 hits. In 2 innings against Tampa, and the White Sox, he no hits. He's probably pissed he got pulled, so he says, screw you. Well, he has pitched in 22 and 23. Let's check his ERA. A 4.9, a 2.83. So in 2023, he started 30 games, and he had a 2.83 ERA. So his ERA is pretty good. So that was so we're going to go Baltimore, and we'll go 5 units because they're playing very good. This game I feel more confident with than maybe the Cubs since the under, but again, the 3.0 ERAs. Colorado, St. Louis. St. Louis minus 198.5. Ryan Felter 1-5 with a 6.22. Kyle Gibson 4-2 with a 3.69. So we're going to go St. Louis. They played a good game yesterday. We'll play this for 5 units. So I might take off. Let's take off the Seattle. No, if I do that, they'll of course stay under. So we'll just leave it as alone. Probably best to go with that first instinct. So we like Kyle Gibson 4-2 with the 3.69, just because we're going against Ryan Felmer 1-5 with a 6.22. All right, so we're going St. Louis there. The Dodgers and the Yankees. The Yankees minus 125, 8.5. More like they were a home dog yesterday. They did lose. Gavin Stone 6-2 with a 2.90 against Nestor Cortez, 3-4, 3.46. We got to go under here. Under 8.5. And I think we'll go 5 units. Going with what we're getting, these low ERA pitchers at 8.5s. We'll see what happens. Um, don't know who that was. Call from New York. Maybe it's Bobby's in New York. Maybe we found him. So they played a 2-1 game yesterday. It's a big left field for the Dodgers. So it's hard to take the Dodgers probably aren't a bad dog, but Cortez is 3 and 4 to 3. Yeah, we're going under with it. At some point, you just got to trust the averages that that's what they're going to do, unless it's Verlander or well, even yesterday with Chris Sale, we pitched them under and we played it. It was our lock, and they lost 2-1. But he gave them 2 runs. He probably gave them 1 run, and then the reliever gave 1. But that's what you expected of Chris Sale. You ain't going to hit the guy, and they didn't. But the other guy, they didn't hit either. Just a second. Just waiting for Daria on the Serbia thing. Anyway. All right. I'm sorry about that. You know how I am with Daria. I'll go days without hearing from her. All right, where are we? New York Yankees. All right, Cleveland and Miami. We got Ben Lively, 5-2 with a 2.84 against Roddy Munoz, 1-1 with the 5.17. We're going to go Cleveland. We're not going to bet it. Arizona and San Diego. This one game went way over. San Diego scored like 10 yesterday. San Diego minus 145.8. Ryan Nelson, 3-4 with the 5.44 against Matt Waldron, 3-5 with the 3.98. I guess we'll go over again. San Diego over 8. It's a low number. And last but not least, Houston against California. California can't hit. Houston a 165.8. Hunter Brown 1-5 with a 6.18 against Tyler Anderson 5-5 with a 2.37. We're going go LA all the way here. We'll call it Kale, and we're going to play him for 5 units because Hunter Brown stinks. He used to get out of Detroit, and he stinks. So, Tyler Anderson, 5-5 with good ERA. I can't play the game under because Houston, the pitcher's got a 6.18. Their bullpen is pretty good, 366 in California. It's 240 with those, so they're hitting better with a weak. This is really an over type of game, but this pitcher's so bad. And Tyler Anderson 237. So we're going Cal for 5 units. So that's it. A lot of baseball on the weekend. It's like it never ends. There's 15 games. So NBA, we like Dallas plus 7.5, 11 units. Off of a loss. They're down 1-0. They don't want to go down 2-0. They really played Boston well the final 3 quarters. First quarter, deer in the headlights. So look for this. Philly under 9.5. Again, 11 units. We got the ace going. We're going Philly under 9.5. Atlanta under 8.5. We're not playing. Minnesota, 5 units. Boston over 8.5, 5 units. Milwaukee over 8. We're not playing because it's the Tigers. You don't know what you're getting there. Seattle under 8.5 for 5 units. The Cubbies under 9 for 5 units. Baltimore, 5 units. St. Louis, 5 units. The Yankees under 8.5 against the Dodgers, 5 units. And Cleveland, San Diego over 8. We're not playing. And then the California, we're playing them for 5 units because Houston's pitcher sucks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. Probably let's throw out the Seattle and the Cubs games. I know. Well, we'll leave the Cubs. Let's throw out the Seattle game. Too many games, too much risk, too much. We're not really sure. See, I love the last game, California. They don't hit much. It's not an over-under game, but you have a 2.25 pitcher going against a 6 pitcher. So just there, you got to go with the 2.25 pitcher. All right, so that is baseball. Again, Philly under 9.5, 11 unit. Minnesota, Boston over 8.5. Cubs under 9. Baltimore, St. Louis, the Yankees under 8.5 with the Dodgers. And Cal, these are all 5 units. It's funny how the Yankee-Dodger was really the Yankees against Brooklyn Dodgers. And then they moved to L.A., That rivalry is still going on. I guarantee it. So should be. You got two good pitchers. Should be an under. All right, that is baseball. And let's go to week 1 of the NFL. I know it's early, but never too early to go to. It's already June 8th. All we're trying to do, we got really one more month. Once it hits the middle of July, it's football. And then the exhibition games start in August. I don't even know if there's exhibition games anymore. Whatever you call it. Nobody plays in them. I mean, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And then they want to charge you tickets at full price. It's $500 to watch minor league football. Okay. All right. Thursday night, Baltimore, KC. KC gets the rings. KC at home. Baltimore has revenge. Doesn't matter. They got Lamar. KC -3. This is an under game, especially week 1. Strong defense for KC, provided the regular unit is there and Kelsey plays and Lamar and those guys. So we're gonna play this game under. I don't know. I got KC -3. Mahomes against Lamar. Mahomes much better. We will see, but probably anything in the over 45. This is a very strong underplay. Hard to take KC +3. I can't take Baltimore at 9 with Lamar. He's in way over his head here. This is where Lamar suffers against a good defense. Mahomes, it doesn't matter. He's the man. Him and Joe Burrow are probably the only two you can count on. Aaron Rodgers also. All right, Green Bay, Philly on a Friday night in freaking Brazil. Why are we going to Brazil? Insane. I don't know what to make of the line. I got Kellen Moore, the new offensive coordinator of Philadelphia. And I can't remember the defensive coordinator, Fasano or something like that. I don't know how good he is. I know he was a head coach and he sucked. I think he was the head coach of Denver. So we'll see how much better Philly is. At this point, being on the road, I'm going to take Green Bay -3 is my line, and this is an over game. Clearly an over. Green Bay, it's this the coach. He's got good plays, so they score a ton, and we're gonna mark this game over. This should be a 60-point game at least. I think with Kellen Moore, Philly can score more, and then the question is their defense, but I don't think they're going to stop Green Bay, and I don't think Green Bay's got that strong of a defense. These are two over teams. All I do is I remember the Philly-Arizona game, 35-31, when Philly needed to win. So I know what they have. It's surprising with all the Georgia defensive players that this should be like give up 7 points a game. Terrible coaching. All right, now we get to Sunday. Pitt at Atlanta. So we're gonna have the quarterbacks are Love against Hurts in the last game. Green Bay, Philly. Quarterbacks are going to be Russell Wilson, maybe Cousins if he's recovered from the Achilles. Otherwise, Penix. Penix is the better quarterback. Not even close. How much does the coach have up his ass? I know it's a new coach. How much politics? Do you have to play Cousins because we paid $45 million? Everybody's saying that, but they don't have to pay much for Penix because he's a rookie. And are you playing to win? If you're playing to win, play your best player. They just didn't think Penix would be there, and it fell into their lap. That's why they drafted him. I don't get why everybody's so like, oh my God, you signed Cousins because Penix is 10 times better. What? Oh my God. So people who make those Cousins comments have no idea. And what has Cousins done? We all hate Cousins. He stinks. A lot of interceptions. With Justin Jefferson, they didn't do shit. They lost to Minnesota. They lost to the Giants in a playoff game, the fucking Giants. So don't give me this Minnesota's any good or that Jefferson or Cousins is any good. I mean, So I got Atlanta -3, depending on the quarterback. That's with Cousins, with Penix, um, probably -6. So I'll assume Cousins. Against Russell Wilson. I love the dog here. Give me Pitt and the dog. They're the better team. And with Russell Wilson, look out. I don't know what they're doing with Fields. Send them back to Ohio State. Arizona at Buffalo. I got Josh Allen against Kyler Murray. Pretty good. This should be a high scoring game, and I like Buffalo depending on the line. My line's Buffalo -7. I take Buffalo under a field goal all day. I take the over if it's anywhere in the 40s all day. So I got Buffalo -7 and probably 50, probably a little higher, maybe 52. So definitely like Buffalo to start out. Arizona, no defense. Again, Josh Allen's going to play well because the defense sucks. Now, if he was playing Pittsburgh, he'd have a problem, but he's not. And they're at home. They seem like a much better home team. Tennessee and Chicago. What do I do with this crap? I got Caleb against, well, Will Levis, or do I got Tannehill, or who's the quarterback? So in this situation, I've got Chicago -3 because they're at home. This is clearly an under game. Probably 45. Again, Caleb against Levis. They both suck. I like the game under because I don't see where the points are coming from. Chicago supposedly has a decent defense. Tennessee, I'm not sure what they're going to have without Vrabel, how good their defense will be. Vic Fazio is the Eagle defensive coordinator. Terrible head coach. So here, I don't see how the Bears are favored over anybody. I don't know if they'll win a game. Tennessee, they suck. They got rid of Henry. I don't know what they got. They're pretty bad themselves. So you got two Z teams playing. Just go under. I don't see. I don't have any desire to take Tennessee at 9 with Will Levis, and I certainly can't bet on Caleb. He'll have Notre Dame flashbacks and UCLA flashbacks. All right, so it's an under there. There's no points to be had. New England and Cincinnati. Cincinnati I got -10 in Cincy. New England, they got Brissett. He'll be their starter against Joe Burrow, who's so pissed after getting injured. Back to the Super Bowl. I got to go with Joe Burrow all day. And New England, them and Carolina, I think are the two worst teams, especially if Drake May gets in there, they won't score. I mean, he's terrible. How he got drafted at all, not even in the first round, but how he got drafted, you got to be out of your freaking mind. Burrow just sliced him up. New England doesn't have Belichick anymore. They don't have a defensive coordinator. They don't have defense. They don't have offense. They have nothing. New England, I think, will be the worst team in the league, like I said, with Carolina. And if you think Drake May, you got to be out of your mind. Yeah, they looked really good against Clemson, North Carolina State, Miami. I mean, what do you, they got lucky they didn't play Florida State. They would have gotten shut out there. So we go with Joe Burrow always, especially after the year he had last year. Houston and Indy, this game's dead even. I got Houston -3. That's where I think. I like Indy as the dog, and I like the game over. So Houston should be a 3-point favorite in Indy, which is a big mistake. I probably like Indy as the dog, and I like the over. Over should be 48, 49. We'll go over that. They'll cover that in the third quarter. Not a lot of defense here. Not a lot of quarterback play here. Richardson, how long before he gets hurt again? If he's any good, if he can throw, he got a shoulder injury. Is he just going to come back? He couldn't throw at Florida. So all he did last year was run. So, yeah, I could just get a running back and put him at quarterback, except for I actually need the ball thrown to receivers. Oh, Richardson can't do that. Okay. I'm not sure Stroud can either. Michigan flashbacks, right? Jacksonville against Miami. I got Miami 4. It's in Miami and over under in the 50s. This game is way over. Tag, this is a good game for him. A weak Jacksonville defense, although Miami has no defense. So look for Trevor Lawrence to put up 20, look for Tag to put up 40, and go over in the game. I can't trust Tag to win, but I can trust him to score a lot. Too many turnovers, fumbles, interceptions. Not a very good typical Alabama quarterback. Mac Jones, Hurts. I mean, go down the list. Not Namath and Stabler. Yeah, those were not normal Alabama quarterbacks. So go over in this game. Carolina, New Orleans, the worst team in the league. Carolina against New Orleans. You know, you got to love Kamara and Olave and Carr. I don't know. I'd rather see Hayner. I think's better. The coach sucks. Carolina has no coach. I got New Orleans -7. I like this game under. It should be mid-40s. Carolina with no offense, no quarterback. They're not going to score. New Orleans, pretty good defense. Like I said, they'll run Kamara a lot, and Olave will be wide open all over. And 28-0 New Orleans or something like that. Minnesota and the Giants. The pathetic bowl. I got Sam Darnold against Daniel Jones. Oh, wow. This game's an under. I don't care what it is. I got the Giants -3 at home. Probably a low 40s over under. Darnold is not an NFL quarterback, but neither is J.J. McCarthy. Daniel Jones, we know he sucks. He broke his leg or whatever with his knee. He's not going to run. I mean, how good is he? How healthy is he? We saw Cam Rising take a whole year to get over his knee injury. So you're telling me Daniel Jones is ready to play NFL football? Yeah, he can't play when he's healthy. Another in the J.J. McCarthy and Drake May field of terrible quarterbacks, but he can run. This is what we're going with. My quarterback can't throw, but he can run. Daniel Jones is terrible. They've lost the big running back, Barkley. I don't know what the Giants have. Picking up the LSU receiver doesn't help you when you don't have a quarterback. How they didn't draft a quarterback in this year was ridiculous. So I can't bet Minnesota. If McCarthy plays, it's definitely an under. We assume Darnold. We don't know the political pressure of, you got to get McCarthy out there because he looks so good for Michigan against Washington and against Ohio State. We got to play him. He throws those 5-yard passes really good. So if he plays, they'll lose for sure. Even the Daniel Jones, they got rid of Tyler Taylor. I don't know who their backup is. And Minnesota, it should be Darnold against Jones, and they both suck. So this is an under because I don't know where the points are coming from. Oakland against San Diego. Interesting game. Game's in San Diego. You got Brock Bowers on the wrong team here. How San Diego did not draft Brock Bowers, then whoever does the draft should be fired for that reason. To take a guard instead of Brock Bowers is criminally insane. The guy should be, in an insane asylum. Brock Bowers comes every 15 years. A guard from Notre Dame you can get in the 5th round from Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. Really made no sense. Terrible pick. Great defense for Oakland. Minshew, okay. Better than Daniel Jones and Darnold. And San Diego has Justin Herbert, but they don't have a receiver. And I don't know. They got Joshua Kelly is a good running back from UCLA. I like him. Great defense. Harbaugh brought his defensive coordinator, so look for this to be Michigan. Let's run the ball and play defense against Oakland. Crosby's not going to let them run the ball, so this is going to be a disaster. Herbert will have to throw when he has no receivers. Minshew, against this tough defense, they're going to be blitzing him all the time. This is a big under. I'm hoping I get a 45 on it, maybe not. This is 13-10 game here. I mean, Oakland's not going to give up anything, and San Diego doesn't have the weapons. They don't have my man anymore. Jesus, Edwards, I think. Edwards. The guy from Cal, what's his name? Well, he's on the Bears now. Whatever. You know who I mean. So actually this very low scoring. Denver against Seattle in Seattle. I got Seattle -3. I got Bo Nix against Smith, Geno Smith, and Bo Nix is much better. I like Denver as the dog. I think this is an over game because I think Sean Payton has the quarterback he wanted. Russell Wilson must not have been doing the plays. And we know if you don't follow the coach and run his play, Sean Payton, we know, was a great offensive mind with Drew Brees and those guys. So I look for Denver to pick up some New Orleans players, hopefully Kamara and Olave. Seattle, great receivers in Metcalf and Lockett. Smith the GB sucks. Good running backs. Walker from Michigan State, the guy from UCLA. No defense. Bo Nix should pick them apart. Jones, I don't know what Denver is. They had a real bad defense. Was skewed because Miami put up 70 points on them. Once you got rid of that, if you just took 70 off and looked at their last 5 or 6 games, they're giving up 22, 23 points a game. I think the defense will be better. I like the game over. Bo Nix's first game, I'm not sure I like him as the dog. In his 5th and 6th game, I'll like him as the dog. Great quarterback. Just blew everybody away, blew Utah away. Played very well against Washington in both of their games. Washington State, Oregon State. Bo Nix is the real deal. So is Penix and Daniels. Otherwise, those three. The others, no way. So I like the game over. Seattle 3, probably be 45. It's an easy game over. Dallas and Cleveland. I got Cleveland -7. I got this game under. Dak Prescott, yeah. Trey Lance, oh, even better. Another running quarterback that can't throw. Just what you need for CeeDee Lamb. So if they think Trey Lance is the answer, they're out of their minds. But they are recognizing that Dak Prescott sucks. Why didn't you draft Penix or Kayla or Nix? I don't know. I don't know what Dallas is doing. But Cleveland, regardless of their quarterback, hopefully it's Thompson Robinson. He's better than Deshaun Watson. I mean, you can't live in the past. 5 years ago, Deshaun Watson, but he sits out 2 years. Last year he sucked. The year before he sucked. No. Cleveland, killer defense. Nick Chubb running the ball. Be tough against Micah Parsons. Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott's like, 6, 7 years already. He's got nothing left. And we know Dak, 3 interception Dak. So I like the game under. I think Cleveland just shuts them down. Micah Parsons touchdown. Most of Cleveland, no quarterback. Nick Chubb. Parsons on Chubb. He takes him out. Cleveland's defense on Dak Prescott shuts him down, gets a few interceptions. This will be a low-scoring game. And I like Cleveland. Cleveland's, I got -7. I like Cleveland -1. I got a feeling the spread will probably be 3 because the popular, God forbid, you give Dallas more than 3 points. So I like Cleveland -1. So if the spread's 3, take Cleveland plus the 3 or the under, whatever is the better one. But I look at this game. Cleveland's a very good defensive team, and they run the ball with Chubb very well. That's what you want for a low-scoring under. In Dallas with Dak Prescott, I will guarantee he throws 2 interceptions in this game. You can count on that. Cleveland will just run the ball with Chubb all day. He'll get tired of running into Micah Parsons. So this is just the best players on the field are the defensive, Myles Garrett and all that. Washington, Tampa. I got Tampa -3 only because it's at home. Washington, terrible team. Daniels he's a good quarterback. Won't help him here. They got no receivers, no running, no defense, no coach. Tampa, terrible coach. Baker's okay. Yeah, we like the receiver. Was Evans okay? Do they have a running back? They have a pretty good defense. Winfield, David, and those guys. So I again got an under here. I got a low scoring. If I get mid-40s, it's an under. Mayfield won't need the thing, but if they don't preseason Daniels, which makes no sense, he'll be very green, very raw to jump into his first NFL game. At LSU, he had receivers. He had good running backs, good receivers, and a good coach. He has none of that here. So it's funny when he goes from LSU here, it's like, I had better players at LSU, which isn't supposed to happen. But Washington's terrible. Can't wait for the Washington Giant game, the 6-3 game. The Rams in Detroit. I got Detroit -3, over under 50. Love the over in the game. Detroit, the beautiful over team like Miami, like Baltimore. Well, Baltimore's not really an over. Like Green Bay and Philly, if Philly's defense doesn't improve. Arizona, Buffalo, Miami, maybe Seattle. So Detroit scores 25, 27, gives up 30. Kept their defensive coordinator, huge mistake. What do you they're all excited they drafted 2 cornerbacks. Whip the fucking do. And one was from Alabama because they always look so good. Unbelievable. So Detroit did not improve defensively. Getting 2 corners, you got to understand it's the NFL. The corners you had were professionals. The corners you have now are college. So Detroit's laying 3. I like the Rams in 9. I think that's a no-brainer with Stafford and Pukanuka. The Lions won't. Pukanuka will get 200. He'll get 20 passes and 250 yards, just like he did in the playoff game, just like Jefferson did it twice, just like CeeDee Lamb. Nothing's going to change because you've kept the same defensive coordinator. What do you think he's going to do? 2 deep zone and nobody covers anybody. You can't. It's the system. It's a zone system. They can't cover anybody. Bring in rookies to go against, who do we got here? Pukanuka and the other guy that I can't even remember anymore, who was the man for the Rams. 2 great running backs. So who's going to cover Pukanuka? And if you leave him, then you got the other receiver. So you got 2 great receivers against a defense that can't stop the win. And they can run, so when they get in the red zone, they'll run it in. I look for the Rams to win the game. I look for Detroit to do its normal stupidity. Hey, let's go for it on 4th and 2 at the 20-yard line, and we need a field goal to tie. We'll go for it on 4th down because if we get it, we can run the clock down. What if you don't get it? Oh, then we just lose the game. But we look good going for it. It shows we're aggressive. Yeah, but that doesn't win the game for you. Oh, we're not interested in winning the game. We're interested in looking aggressive. That's what we want to look, is that we're aggressive. But we lost. Well, yeah, but we lost aggressively. Doesn't that get us in the playoffs? Well, what was your record? Well, we were 7-10, but we have 3 games that we were aggressive in. Does that get us in the playoffs? No. Oh. Having our head up our ass, does that? Having a coach that's too stupid to kick field goals, does that help us? No. Okay. So love the Rams here. Love the over here. Stafford will light them up with Pukanuka and the other guy. I can't believe I can't remember the other guy. And so everybody raves about the Lions guy, the Lions GM, and here the Rams get the guy find Pukanuka out of UCLA in their home backyard, and the Lions guy gets Jameer Williams out of Alabama. He can only draft out of Alabama. I've never seen this. The running back, two defensive backs from Alabama. They're not that good, the Alabama players. I hate to break it to you. It's not, you go to LSU or Georgia, you don't go to Alabama for pros. I don't see these guys doing anything. These cornerbacks, they're going to get burnt. And I don't think this Williams, he's always getting hurt. He dropped the ball against the Rams, I think, last year. So anyway, love the Rams and love the over in the game. Definitely the over. Stafford's going to light them up. I know now this is a revenge game, trading Stafford and then the playoff game. And that was what, 27-24. The Lions somehow won, but this ain't going to be nothing. Last game, the Jets and the Niners in San Francisco. Now we got the JETSs with Aaron Rodgers. And what do we do with that? Two good defensive teams, so I think it's an under. I got the Niners -7 at home. The Brock Purdy's, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Freddie Solomon, Dwight Clark. Against the JETSs have the good running back, Aaron Rodgers, all the Packer receivers. If he plays the whole game, I think the Jets can win, and I think this is definitely an under game. 23-21 or 23-20. Rodgers will find a way to get them open. And the Niners, good defense. See, this is the difference. The Niners got rid of their defensive coordinator and brought in a new one because he sucked. And they got rid of the guy who sucked, who cost them the Super Bowl. The Lions don't get rid of their guy that cost them the Super Bowl. And that's why teams go to the Super Bowl and teams don't. So look for the Niners. They have, wonderful team, A-team, good defense, good offense. The Jets, A-team with Aaron Rodgers. And I said they'd be in the playoffs, but I didn't. That was before Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Then they were just a good under team, a good defensive team that couldn't score. Then the quarterback kept throwing the ball away. It's a hard offense unless it's Aaron Rodgers. So look for Aaron Rodgers to play well if he doesn't get injured, which is crazy. He's always a little bit injured. He had that calf in the playoff games. He always played. So this had to be a real bad injury for him to not play. But we will see. I'm sure he'll be tough with it. And he needs that first hit, and then he'll be, okay, I'm okay. And he'll pick apart the Niners for sure. So I got the Niners laying 7 and 44. I like it under 50. I think with the Jets defense and the Niner defense, they're going to dominate the game. Very, 20-17. But I do like Aaron Rodgers should be able to. He'll definitely move on the Niners. He'll be able to actually read a blitz and throw the ball to the right receivers. Amazing how that works when you have a good quarterback, right, Lamar? So I like the under more than I like the Jets. And again, we got to hope Aaron Rodgers plays the whole game. So that's it. That's week 1. We'll have to kind of use last year to rank it, but we'll fill in the dots. So in other words, Baltimore, KC really didn't change much. Okay, we know where they are. Green Bay, Philly. Green Bay is getting better. Great offense against the Niners and Dallas in the playoffs. Hard to bet. The Green Bay Detroit games are both. I'm going to just jump on the over. Anything in the 40s, I'm jumping hugely on over in the Green Bay games against the Lions. It's over against over. Philly, it's a mystery. Vic Fangio, Wasn't he Denver's coach and he was really bad? Kellen Moore, I like at Boise. Didn't do much for San Diego, but Herbert got hurt. He was the OC there, and he was the OC at Dallas. But again, he had Dak Prescott. So this is the first time he's actually got a quarterback. Well, he doesn't have one here, Jalen Hurts. Anyway, let's see. Pitt, Atlanta. Is Pitt going to still be the under team? The great defense. They actually have a quarterback much better than what they've had. If Fields has to play, I feel sorry for them. And Philly, we don't know. I think they're still an over team. I know they've got the receivers and that. They've lost a running back. Although I think they picked up Barkley, so they might be more of a running team instead of a quarterback sneak team. Their defense full of Georgia players, so I don't know what to make of it. I think they'll be a little more aggressive. They need to be more aggressive. Play Georgia football, and they will. It'll be tough to get 10 points on them. I'm sorry, Pitt, Atlanta. Pitt strong defense with Wilson. They move up to like a B team. Atlanta, still no defense. Haven't improved. Still don't like the coach. Still don't like Cousins. I do like Penix. Decent running backs. Decent receivers. Nothing great. No defense. I don't even know what to call it here. I can't see them being the favorite in any game except for Carolina. Arizona, Buffalo. We got over team in Arizona and pretty much a B over in Buffalo. So they're a B team that they got a pretty good defense, but they're an over team because Josh Allen's going to score get you a lot of points. So they'll be in the mid-20s, giving up low 20s or high teens. This Arizona game should go way over. Kyler Murray runs around like a chicken with his head cut off, but their defense sucks. I don't see it getting any better. You don't win with the draft unless you're the 74 Steelers. You're not going to win with the draft nowadays because the players are all a bunch of babies. And, I didn't start for this team. I'm going to transfer over here and get NIL money. Well, NIL is supposed to be jersey sales. How did it become $1 million to get Tyler Van Dyke to go to Wisconsin? Doesn't make sense. Let's alienate the fans a little bit more, right? It's enough to pay them, and you want to pay Trevor Lawrence $45 million or Jared Goff $50 million. That's insanity enough. But in college, no. Anyway, I think we at least understand that the pros are pros. They get paid. College, they don't get paid. They get an education, which they don't use. But I'm not sure there's an education there anymore. I think it's just socialism. All right. Tennessee, Chicago, both Z teams. They both need quarterbacks. Terrible coaching. I don't know what to say. Bears screwed up taking Caleb. Terrible pick. I just think you'll see a lot of interceptions basically from Caleb. And Will Levis is terrible. He doesn't score a lot of turnovers. So you get a lot of turnovers from these teams. Pretty good defense with the Bears, so they're probably going to be an under team. They'll probably end up running the ball. Caleb doesn't run the ball like Fields did. The only reason the Bears were any good for the last 2 years was Fields running the ball, right? He couldn't throw. So we'll see that. Tennessee, just the coach they hired is terrible. See, everybody's going to these. Well, he's on the Shanahan or the Ram guy, McVay. Well, he was on their staff, so he's therefore the same offensive coordinator, like the Miami coach who was the 49er towel boy. They make him a head coach. Great defense you got there in Miami. And any good teams got figured out. That's why whenever he plays Buffalo, they lose by 50. 26-7 to Kansas City. Yeah, loved it. So we will see. Anyway, So Tennessee, probably a Z team. Chicago, very weak, good defense. So maybe these teams will have good defenses, probably because their offenses are going to suck. No quarterbacks. New England, Cincinnati. New England's the worst team in the league with Carolina and maybe with Chicago and Tennessee. Cincinnati's an 18 with Joe Burrow and Chase. You can't beat them. So look for Cincinnati healthy to be them in Kansas City. New England, who are they going to beat? They can't beat the Jets. They can't beat Buffalo, and they can't beat Miami. So unless they get Carolina or Tennessee or Indy or Houston, I don't see them winning any games. Their quarterback Brissett's not bad. If Drake May's out there, we're betting a fortune against them. So definitely like Cincinnati, they're definitely the A team again. As long as Chase and Burrow out there, they're the best team. If they're not, that's a different story. But when they're healthy, nobody can beat them. Houston and Indy, I don't know what Houston is. They're a weak team. Indy's even weaker. Indy needs a quarterback. Richardson wants to run, breaks his shoulder. I'm sure that helped his throwing motion. And he's not a quarterback. And in Houston, everybody is on Stroud. Okay, yep. As soon as he gets a defense like Michigan, so if they play San Diego, he won't get a first down. Both these teams suck. Both these teams have kind of weak defenses. I know the Houston coach is the 49er defensive coordinator, but the real one was Salva, who went to the Jets, and then this guy came and he didn't do anything. But he's a good coach. I don't buy that. And then you get to, I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he was a good defensive coordinator on the Niners. I could have coached the defense there. All right. Jacksonville, Miami. Miami, the over team with Tug. Jacksonville, weak defense. Lawrence stinks. Etning's okay. Lawrence is inconsistent. They get tired staying in London for 2 weeks. They have that again where they go for 2 weeks and play 2 games in London. Then they get on the London time zone. Then they got to come back to Jacksonville. It's going to take them 2 more weeks to get on the Jacksonville time zone. And then by the end of the year, they're all tired from all this time zone stuff. So not a real good team, Jacksonville. Miami, good offense, so it's an over. Carolina, worst team in the league, Z team, no quarterback, not much defense, not much running, not much anything, no coach. New Orleans, I don't like the coach. Derek Carr's okay. I like Hayner better. Olave and Kamara are their team, good defense. So New Orleans is a pretty good team. Carolina's the worst. Minnesota needs a quarterback. Darnell's not the answer, and McCarthy certainly isn't. I don't know who I think they got a running back, and they got Jefferson, but nobody to throw the ball. Their defense needs help. The Giants are terrible. They got some defensive help in the draft that won't make a difference. They got rid of Barkley, and you got Daniel Jones. So they're a Z team. They're a terrible team. The only time they'll get wins is against Washington. And that's it. I mean, they played Dallas twice last year, who's not very good, and lost like 45-0 in both games. That tells you how weak they are that they play a Dallas team and 45 points. So Minnesota, I don't know if they have a good defense. They say they do, but I don't buy it. And the Giants need a quarterback. Both teams need a quarterback. Both teams need running and both teams need defense. So I'm not sure. They're kind of W teams. They're kind of weak teams. Oakland, San Diego. Oakland, very strong defense. They're a good under team, good defensive team, no quarterback. San Diego, Herbert, we love. Keenan Allen's gone there. I don't know. When I'm trying to think of him, I can't. When I'm not trying to think of him, I can't. So Keenan Allen's gone. Big mistake. You didn't draft Brock Bowers. Big mistake. Who's your receivers? Kelly's good at running back. What are you going to do? Run Kelly 50 times a game? Pretty good defense, Michigan defense. So it means they're going to rush 6 guys every time. I'm sure it'll work in the pros. And Oakland, great defense there. So both teams are more defensive teams. Herbert, unfortunately, now can't throw to anybody. Denver, Seattle, I look for Denver to be much improved. Should be a B team. Bo Nix, great. The running back from Notre Dame, great. The guys they had last year are fine. The blockers are fine. They make a big deal about the offensive line. Like, dudes, they're just, it doesn't matter. They can block or some teams struggle with it, but most teams are fine. And then Seattle, no quarterback and no defense. So they're an over. Denver will probably end up being an over with Bo Nix, but we'll see. Dallas, very weak. Dak Prescott's terrible. Micah Parsons, great player. So good defensive team. So they're probably an under. Cleveland is probably an A or B team, depending on who their quarterback is. With Chubb and the defense, Garrett, very strong team here. They beat Baltimore. I don't know if they can beat Cincinnati with Burrow. And then Pittsburgh. Those will be really the strongest division right there. So I like Cleveland though. They're a live dog against anybody, and they'll show you with this Dallas game. And Dallas is just falling down with Prescott. So Trey Lance is not your answer. I love that. Wow, we'll take Trey Lance. He sucks, but we'll take him because Prescott's terrible. Washington at Tampa. Washington's a Z team, terrible. I like Daniels, but nobody to throw it to, no defense, no coaching. Tampa, terrible coach. I like the Baker, no running. Evans is good, and then their defense is good, so they're okay. They're probably more of an under team. The Rams are an A team. They'll fight with the Niners. A very strong team. Great quarterback, great running, great receivers, and a great defense. Even though Donald retired, they drafted 3 or 4 guys, and hopefully they find somebody, and they got better last year. So we will see, but they need defense to compete with the Niners. Detroit, an over team, great offense, terrible defense. Nothing's changed. The Jets with Rodgers are an A team, great defense. Rodgers, great offense. The Niners, great team, great defense, great offense. Brock Purdy, no problems with him. I'll bet him all the time. McCaffrey, Ayuk, I mean, they're strong. So that's your NFL week 1 and just your general thing. Now, the hard part's trying to do that in football and baseball. So I look at the baseball and I try to, who's the A team and who's the Z team, and it's really difficult. When I look at it, here's my A teams: Atlanta, Baltimore, Cleveland, Kansas City, the Dodgers, Milwaukee, the Yankees, Philadelphia. That's it. So basically, teams that score a lot and have pretty good defense, just like football. Pretty good offense, pretty good defense. You're an A team. Mahomes, Joe Burrow. And here's the same thing. You're looking at the pitching and you're looking at the hitting. You're not really looking at the defense. I'm looking at the runs they score versus the runs they give up, which is what I do in football. A little bit harder because there's more average in baseball. And you only get Verlander every 5 days, where Mahomes and Burrow you get every game. That's the biggest difference I see in baseball to football. And then there's so many bad pitchers and so many bad hitters that it's a shake my head league like this. And the worst is the managers are so stupid. You have a manager leading off a guy hitting 110. Why do I want this guy batting 5 times in a game? Seriously, my leadoff hitter's hitting 110. Or my cleanup hitter's hitting 201. Why is he? So there's one team I was looking at. They actually had 300 hitters. Oh my God. I think it's Milwaukee or something. And I can understand Aaron Judge being a power hitter. Maybe you bat him 4th with his 220 batting average. That's not going to last. But basically, they're not teaching hitting anymore. They teach you either like hit a home run. Who's teaching that? And what that doesn't work. There's so many guys hitting under 200. Maybe this theory doesn't work. When I played little league, pony colt. Never played college. Obviously, didn't play pros, and never. I just had the nice closed stance, and I would just take the ball to right center or left center. My best hit was this stinging triple all the way to the pool at this place. The pool was like 340. I just lined it like a rope up the right center field gap, and that was. But that's how I batted with the close stance, hitting the right center, and it's the best way to hit. So anyway, yeah, I know, Bobby, you're a big hitter. I know. Um, so with that said, um, but I never thought of hitting home runs. But that was the point. I never oh no, you got to go for a home run. I never went. I never tried that. I'd hit 350 because I just hit the ball. I just hit it as hard as I could. I never tried to hit a home run. I tried to hit a line drive. Even that ball to the pool was a line shot. It never got 10 feet off the ground, but it went all the way to the pool, all the way to the fence. And that works just as well. So watching these guys are pathetic trying to hit home runs, which are meaningless. I got the bases loaded, and you come out to strike out because you don't know how to hit the ball except for you're trying to hit a home run. What is that? Oh, you mean analytics again is fucking up the game, another game? So that's my point. So it's really hard baseball. There's no Rod Carews. There is no Wade Boggs, Ken Griffey Jr.'s, guys that could hit for average and power. It's really pathetic. It's hard to watch. And then you got all these pitchers, which I assume are analytics also because, well, they're going to just foul every ball off and you'll be done by the third inning because you're going to foul off 100 pitches. And then with the wonderful pit count of 100, I don't know where they're getting. How do you randomly pick up 100 pitches? That's got to be analytics. After 100, their ERA went from a 2.0 to a 2.1. Oh my God, we got to get them out. I mean, that's what it smells like to me. It's a bunch of bullshit. All the greats, Carlton, Nolan Ryan, Koufax, Bob Gibson, all would pitch 200 pitches like a no problem. So I don't get this 100 pitches and you're out. In a lot of games, oh no, he can't go 3 times through the lineup. Well, the guy did it yesterday against the Tigers, the Milwaukee guy, and he shut him out. I think he gave up 1 or 2 hits. They didn't score. They lost 10-0. So going through the lineup the third time really didn't bother him. I don't know why they didn't let him finish the game. So it's 10-0, and in the bottom of the 9th, some new guy comes out. He's never pitched before. He's like 31 years old, and he gets the Tigers out 1, 2, 3, and that was it. And you're like, well, why didn't you let the guy finish the game with a complete game? So the managers are really bad in all these sports. They don't know how to coach, so they use the analytics. Look at this guy Mayo on New England. He's never coached before. He played. He was a linebacker. Okay, wonderful. So you're the head coach. Or the running back at UCLA who never coached before. He was a running back. I remember when he played. I don't know. Are you a coach? Magic Johnson, Larry Bird couldn't coach. Magic couldn't coach. Isaiah, God knows, couldn't coach. So I don't really know what they're doing. Why can't you just find a guy who's coached before, who's a good coach, and hire him? Why is it always – well, he's from the 49er or the Ram tree, so we're going to hire him. I don't know. But baseball, that's the trouble. I know I got Mahomes every game when I'm betting KC, provided he's not injured. I know I got Aaron Rodgers now. And I know that I got baseball, I got Verlander every 5th day. So what do I do the other 4 days when I don't have Verlander? And that's what I'm telling you. You got to be careful. Look for the Verlander, Chris Sale yesterday, the guy from Philly today, um, Park Ranger, whatever his name is, Ranger something, Lopez Sanchez. So you find there's maybe 10 guys who can pitch in the major leagues, and that's what you look for. And the rest of these 3.5 ERAs, that's what fucks you up betting on baseball, because you don't know what you're going to get. Verlander, I'm pretty certain 9 out of 10, you're getting maybe 3 hits on him. Here, I don't know what you're getting with the other. So anyway, not really sure. We talked, gold got crushed yesterday, but not really. It was a derivative that was a put down derivative. So they sold the derivative at 23.87, and there was no protection because China was already gone. Nobody to really stop the bleeding, and it went down to 22.97. So that's what you got. It's all derivative. It's all paper. It's all contract options. And it's all Eddie Murphy. It's all trading places. So the price of orange juice went from 102 to 142. Then they found out there was nothing wrong, down to 24. Why did it start at 102? I don't know. But that's my point. It's how does that set the price for orange juice? It doesn't. So now the orange juice price goes down at the grocery store because Eddie Murphy, got the price down to 29 or whatever. Gold's the same way. How do you set a price on contracts and not on physical? So in physical world, the reason I say that gold will be so much higher than silver is because it's being pushed down by contracts, by options. And therefore, it makes no sense. It's not the real value of the physical gold. Like I showed you the Mahomes card. The Mahomes card is on supply and demand in an auction as what gold should be. How much do you want for it? Like any other product, like my Canadian club, why would it be derivatives? And so that's why it goes down. It's all bullshit. It's going to go through the roof because they're going to get rid of comex, because as they sell it, they're going to be buying it back up. The reason they do the derivatives, they make some money on it, is to get out of other derivatives that they couldn't get out of because they went up, and they did the derivatives and they kept going up. And so they're getting killed on the derivatives because they're selling first and then buying. Well, in that situation, selling first and then buying, it doesn't, it doesn't work. It only works if the price goes down. If the price goes up, they're fucked. And they're fucked in a lot of derivatives. So they're trying to get out of them. It's got nothing to do with demand or anybody selling or what do they call it? What do they call it? I always struggle with this word. The volatility. It's not volatile. It's a derivative. Of course, the derivative goes up and down, but that's not the price, and it's not volatile. So why people think this is the real price is just beyond me. It shows the level of lack of knowledge that you can do a derivative and you think that's the real price of gold, and it makes no sense. So we realize it's just the derivatives, and it's going away because of the physical. It's just a matter of time. And that's what this war is about with Russia, is basically they don't want Russia to go on a gold standard. I mean, that's the simplest way of why there's this war and why it's still going on. Because they're going to nuke somebody. I don't know if Russia nukes the U.S. or just nukes an island in Sweden or says, look, we have nukes, we're going to use them. But Putin's not playing around. Putin is not going to be intimidated by the U.S., and we'll see what happens. But he's got the nukes. What the fuck? They better not nuke Russia, I'll kill him because Daria lives there, and I'm sure it won't be good for Jenna in the Ukraine either. Fortunately, she's away from the action because she lives more in a Ukraine city than a Russian city, and Russians are just trying to take the Russian cities back, and that's what's happening. So we know everything. I was watching Andy Scheckman this morning, and it's like the guy goes through it, and I'm like, yeah, we've heard all this like for 2 years now. Like, shut the fuck up. And there's just, and the Bill Halter interview was terrible. These guys, they keep kind of like reinventing the wheel. Well, I'm a stockbroker and I got into gold and da 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 da. We don't care. That's why I try to explain it in English so you understand it. And I know I get a little repetitive, but I try to pick you up with this is why comex dropped was the derivatives. And it's just they sell first and buy, like Eddie Murphy. So anyway, don't get discouraged. It's a buying opportunity. I'm waiting on these jobs. I don't know. Like I said, the recruiter went and asked me to like befriend him on LinkedIn, which I assume he wants to see my LinkedIn profile, which I don't know why. Again, I'm waiting to get this offer. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll go to Harley or just wait for gold to go up. Then I get this check from my mom's. What do you call it? I don't know. It's a trust. So it's a check for the trust, but they have been sending it to an old address that I'm not at. So I finally get it here. I have to sign some papers, fine, mail it. And then I'm telling them, and I hate when I don't get a response, is make sure you don't give me this check because it's dated October 2023 and it'll never cash. So before wasting everybody's time by sending it, I expect you to send a new check 2024, today's date. I hope I get that next week. Now I asked the person to let me know when you send it. Now, how much do we want to bet that I won't get an email that they sent it? So anyway, so that's what's happening. Daria, she's still waiting on Serbia. She wants to meet. She's got to wait on the mother to watch the daughter. I don't know. She says, can you wait a little bit longer? I says, yeah, I mean, I'm just anxious to book the tickets so I can get a job and tell them I've got a vacation plan. And so that's where I'm at with that. So got to be patient. I hate being patient. I hate when it just doesn't go. Like if I'm saying to respond to the email, let me know you get it. Let me get it. Respond to it. Don't just do that. The same thing with the guy with the email on the job. Like, well, they still got 2 more to interview. Okay. And he says, well, think whatever you want about that. Like, I don't know what to think about it. Well, obviously they want to interview more people. Well, there's not much to think. If they're not telling you, there's nothing we can do. What are you wasting the time? Just say, okay, they take you, or no, they didn't take you. And then we need to talk to the VP because there's 2 jobs for me, and I'll take the other job then. Anyway, so that's your stoic thing. As far as economics, we got it all. The dollar's falling out because they keep printing too much. So we understand the theory and the concept. We're just waiting for comex to blow up because they'll do the derivatives, but they need actual gold to do them, which they are running out of very fast. So if they run out of gold to do the derivatives, then they won't go down. That was all options that drove the price down. Nothing else. No profit taking, no fixing, no consolidation. It's called a put option. That's why the price went down. And that had nothing to do with the value of gold. So you go buy gold today. Monday, I hear there's a holiday in China, so it might go down more Monday. And then Tuesday, it'll go through the roof again because the price is so cheap, they'll buy it. But we will see. Anyway, anything else? Let's go through the baseball one more time. In the NBA, we've got Dallas plus 7.5, 11 units. We got Philly under 9.5 in baseball, 11 units. We got Minnesota, 5 units. Boston over 8.5, 5 units. We got the Cubbies under 9, 5 units. We got Baltimore, 5 units. St. Louis, 5 units. The New York Yankees under 8.5 with the Dodgers, 5 units. And California Angels to win, 5 units. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold's telling us so. Any other thoughts? Let me know. www.teaserking.com. Nothing to buy right now. Football is coming up. You can buy a full year. It's not the same price as last year. You can buy a month. It's much cheaper than buying it weekly, or you can just buy it weekly, whatever you prefer. I'll think about a class to go through the games like I just do baseball. But I don't think I'm going to go through the games like this. All right. That's it. www.teaserking.com. Have a nice day, everybody. And I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. And good luck. Good luck on Dallas. And then we've got our big game, Philadelphia under. Those are the two 11-unit plays. All right, everybody. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy your Saturday.